If there's one category that's exploding right now, it's compact luxury SUVs. Everybody wants something premium but not gigantic, something practical but still fun to drive. This is a 2026 Audi Q3 and it feels different. Audi looked at opportunities for improvement with the old model, things like the slightly dated interior, the sometimes cramped feeling, or somewhat underwhelming tech, and then completely reworked it. And now I genuinely think it might be one of the most complete luxury compact SUVs you can buy. It definitely feels like a proper Audi, so let's take a look at what's new, talk about the tech, and also focus on actual user experience. The crazy thing about the new 2026 Audi Q3 is that this doesn't really feel like an entry-level Audi anymore, because usually when you buy the small luxury SUV, there are compromises everywhere. Cheap plastics, tiny screens, weak engines, and features missing. But this new Q3, it looks expensive, it feels premium, and it seems like Audi made their smallest SUV actually desirable instead of just practical. So after spending time with it, I kind of get why Audi thinks this is going to become one of their most important vehicles. Let's start with the design because this is a noticeable upgrade over the previous model. The old one still looked nice, but it definitely felt a little safe. This new one looks sharper, lower, wider, way more premium, and I love this Malpelo blue. The grille is larger and mounted a bit higher now, giving the front end a much more aggressive stance. Then you combine that with the super slim daylight running lights and the split light setup underneath, and suddenly the Q3 starts looking a lot closer to Audi's higher end SUVs. Audi is also leaning hard into lighting tech now, and the Q3 gets customizable lighting signatures, optional OLED rear lighting, and this full width rear light bar that makes the back look significantly more upscale. I guess this might be controversial, but I love the illuminated outer rings on the rear, and I kind of wish they would let me change the color. The proportions are also better this time around. The Q3 is slightly longer and wider than before, which gives it a more mature look overall. And parked next to something like the BMW X1 or the Mercedes GLA, I think Audi may have the best looking one in the bunch. Let me know what you think. But the biggest transformation is definitely on the interior, because the previous Q3 definitely started feeling outdated once Audi began to upgrade the rest of their lineup. The new cabin, though, is a huge improvement. The first thing you notice is the screen setup. Audi calls this their digital stage layout, and it combines this curved driver display with a large central infotainment screen. You're getting an approximately 12-inch digital instrument cluster and a 13-inch center display, and visually it looks modern without feeling overwhelming. Wireless Apple Play and Android Auto are integrated, so it doesn't matter if you have the iPhone 17 Pro Max or the Galaxy S26 Ultra, you're set. The new graphics on the MMI are beautiful and crisp. The system feels significantly quicker than older Audi software. The new UI is a massive improvement over the previous version. It's much more user-friendly. You can actually rearrange the tiles into any layout, and this way you customize the car to work better for you rather than having to adjust to a static configuration. And if you love LEDs like I do, sorry, not sorry, there's a convenient shortcut tile for ambient lighting. Now, there are very few physical buttons below the MMI, and Audi has continued the industry trend of moving climate controls into the touchscreen, which I'm a little conflicted about. It's nice that they're always available, but if you want to do something like change the fan speed or where the air is coming from, you'll have to go into a secondary screen. Material quality is also much nicer than before. Soft touch materials across the dash, ambient lighting throughout the cabin, acoustic glass for a quieter ride. The seats are on the firm side. The leather feels really nice, and the seats are heated but not ventilated, which would have been nice. I do appreciate that the heated steering wheel has 3 levels of heat, which gives much more control to someone like me who's always freezing. And something else I really like is how much more open the center console feels. Audi moved the gear selector up behind the steering wheels, so you push it down to go into drive and up to go into reverse, and because of this new location, you suddenly get this much cleaner layout on the center console. There's a compartment with 15-watt cooled wireless charging, meaning that there are vents to keep your phone nice and cool, so the battery is not damaged from overheating. The compartment also houses 2 USB-C ports, and if you upgrade to the infotainment package, package, you get 60-watt power delivery for much faster charging. And to finish off the center console, we've got multimedia controls, cup holders, and genuinely usable storage space. Something else that's a little unique is Audi's new design of the turning signal. Instead of the whole lever going up and down, it's only the back part, which is pretty cool, but took a little bit of time to get used to. Another great improvement is with the head-up display. It can now show a lot more information. You can customize what's shown and how bright it is. And a massive upgrade over my current SQ5 is that I can actually see navigation prompts from Apple Maps using CarPlay, which is a major W. And because I always have an Android phone and an iPhone with me, it's super important to me that both OSs are tightly integrated. Even something as simple as calling back a recent number is nicely incorporated into the digital cluster. And these are the types of things that make an incredible difference when it comes to the actual user experience with the car. This particular model has the optional Sonos premium sound system, again, part of the infotainment package. You're getting 12 high-performance speakers, which include a center speaker and a subwoofer. The whole system is powered by a 420-watt amp, and it sounds great. Driver assist features have also worked really well. Adaptive cruise control is responsive and smooth, lane assist is super accurate, and the Q3 comfortably maintains a safe distance, stops, and then starts again on its own. I also really like that along with a ton of useful controls, the steering wheel seems to have sensors on it, so you can just touch or rest your hand on it for the vehicle to acknowledge contact rather than having to actually move the steering wheel like you have to with some other cars. Now, even with all these smart features, the Q3 can't remember everything for you. And that's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, especially during meetings, brainstorming sessions, or even conversations while driving to a shoot. And that's why I've been using the PLAUD Note Pro and the Note Pen S. These aren't just your basic voice recorders, they're designed more like AI-powered work companions. The idea is simple. Instead of writing things down or pulling out your phone, which always changes the vibe, these are small devices that let you focus on the actual interaction. The Note Pro is a slim and super sleek looking card-sized recorder that can be used in person but can also record phone calls. The Note Pen S is a small wearable recorder that can be worn using a clip, a magnet, a lanyard, or even a wristband that makes it look like a fitness band. And what's cool is that after you're done, PLAUD automatically organizes everything into structured summaries, key points, and action items. So instead of worrying about remembering every detail, you can pay attention to the road and actually stay present in the conversation. There's even a desktop app for recording online meetings and for easier access and organization. So if you want to check out the Note Pro or the Note Pen S, I've got links in the description. And thank you to PLAUD for sponsoring this portion of the video. Now let's talk about driving, because this is another area where the new Q3 got a serious upgrade. The 2026 Q3 now gets a more powerful turbocharged 2.0-liter 4-cylinder engine and a new S-Tronic 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. This new engine produces around 255 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque with standard Quattro all-wheel drive. And honestly, it's quick. Audi says it goes 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds, which is fast for a compact SUV. It's not trying to be a full-on performance SUV, but there's more than enough power here for merging, passing, or just having fun on a back road. This thing feels quieter, smoother, and more planted than before. The steering is light but accurate, visibility is excellent up front, and the suspension does a really good job at balancing comfort with just enough sportiness to still feel engaging. And because it's an Audi, highway miles is where this thing really shines. It just eats the miles effortlessly. Of course, you can select how you want the Q3 to behave. You've got comfort for the smoothest ride, off-road plus when you want to get dirty, dynamic mode when you're really feeling feisty, and then balanced for the perfect mix. But trust me, when you want to have fun, just go dynamic. Now, when it comes to practicality, the Q3 makes a really strong case for itself, because even though it's compact, Audi did a really good job at maximizing space. The rear seats slide forward and backward, which means you can prioritize either passenger legroom or cargo space depending on what you want. You need more trunk space for that Costco run, just slide the seats forward. Taking adults on a road trip, just slide them back. Cargo space is solid for the segment, and the opening itself is nice and wide, which makes loading larger items easier. The rear seats recline. There are rear climate controls, 2 USB-C ports. In this upgraded model, they are 100 watts, which is awesome for something like like my MacBook Pro, and overall this feels way more family friendly than some of the sportier competitors. Now, of course, if you're always driving with taller people in the back, it may feel a little tight, and then you might want to consider something bigger like the Q5. But at the same time, for most people, there is more than enough space. Now let's talk pricing, because while the Q3 is better than before, it's also more expensive. At least in the US, it starts at $46,590. This particular one has the upgraded color, the larger wheels, the optional infotainment technology, driver assistance, and black optic packages, so everything that you can possibly add, and that's an MSRP of $50,790. Overall, I think that Audi nailed this redesign. The previous Q3 felt like a small Audi, and this 2026 Q3 feels like a real luxury SUV that just happens to be compact. It looks better, it drives better, the interior feels dramatically more modern, and it finally has the tech and refinement to properly compete with the BMW X1, Mercedes GLA, and the Volvo XC40. For a lot of people, this might actually be the sweet spot in Audi's entire SUV lineup. You know what I always say? Buy it nice or buy it twice. Good luck, and see you soon.